Hello and welcome to AH Shooting and Just Good Food. Today I'm going to be cooking a muntjac loin, or saddle as you might call it in the US. I'm just going to put it on top of some potato mash, and I'm going to make a really nice blue cheese sauce which goes absolutely lovely with some steak. You can use whatever steak you like. You can use beef steak, venison, lamb, but I'm doing it with muntjac today. So if you like the video, hit the like button, and if you want to be in the winners club, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to check out my channel because I've got plenty of other videos on there as well, and I've got plenty more coming soon. So let's go. First we're going to start by making the blue cheese sauce. So I'm just going to put this pan on a low to medium heat. We're then going to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil to this pan and about 50 grams of butter. We've put the olive oil in basically to stop the butter from burning, but we're going to heat this butter up fairly slowly. We're then going to add in some flour and make a small amount of roux just to give our sauce a bit of thickness so it'll sort of stick to the steak. You don't want the heat too high because if you do, the flour will burn and it will ruin your roux mixture. Okay, so all the butter's melted now and it's combined with the olive oil. So I'm now going to add some flour to that. I'm just going to use half a cup of plain flour. You don't have to sieve it. It doesn't matter because we're going to cook it off anyway. Okay. So now we're just going to stir the flour in. See, it's gone kind of almost like a breadcrumb consistency. You need to keep this on a low to medium heat at best, and you need to keep this mixture moving around now, because if you don't, it will burn the flour and it will just ruin your sauce. You basically need the flour to cook out. If you don't cook the flour out properly, it will taste all bitty, and kind of, you still taste the powder of the flour. So by cooking the flour out, it will soften all the parts of the flour, and then when you make your sauce up, you won't be able to taste it. Keep stirring it, don't leave it, because if you burn it, you're going to have to start all over again. Okay, this is cooked out now, so I'm going to now add half a cup of water. Okay, it's going to thicken up straight away, and then I'm going to take it off the heat, and I'm going to add half a pint of milk. So it looks a bit lumpy, but if you keep stirring it with the whisk, the lumps will come out, and it will start to thicken up. Okay, just give it a good whisk. Keep the mixture moving, because again, you don't want it sticking to the bottom because it will ruin your sauce. So it's starting to thicken up now. The lumps are all coming out of it now. As it thickens, it's turning it into a kind of smooth paste. So now I'm going to take this off the heat again and add another half pint of milk and give it a stir. Back onto the heat. So after adding the pint of milk in 2 halves, we're just going to let this gently start simmering. You do need to keep stirring it, like I say, because if you get any stuck on the bottom, it will burn and it will ruin your sauce. So don't forget to keep giving it a stir. Don't leave it. So what we've got here at the moment is a bechamel sauce. So it's basically a plain white sauce. So it's basically flour, butter, milk, and this is the base of a lot of sauces. So if you add cheese to this, it will turn into a Mornay sauce. You could just add some parsley into it, which would make it like a nice parsley sauce. You would maybe add some fish stock to it or something, and you could use it for a nice parsley sauce for some fish. Okay, I'm going to add a crack of black pepper into this and a little pinch of salt. And then I'm going to add 300 ml double cream. You want it nice and creamy. Okay, this mixture is enough for about 10 people. I've got a dinner party tonight, so I'm making plenty of sauce to go with it. But what I'll do in the video descriptions is I'll just add the ingredients list to make enough for 4 people. Okay, next I'm going to put in 120 grams of blue cheese. This is a local blue cheese to me, so you should always support your local producers. And yeah, eat your local produce, so that's what I'm doing. You can use Stilton, you can use whatever you like, but I quite like this one. So here I've got the blue cheese. I've chopped it up just to make it easy to kind of combine it in. So now we've got our sauce, kind of the roux's cooked off. We can now just keep stirring it with a wooden spoon, and we'll let all those lovely blue cheese lumps disintegrate into the sauce. So on the same heat, I'm just adding into a little bit of butter, 1 large onion just roughly chopped, and a couple of chestnut mushrooms, they're also roughly chopped. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sweat all these off and add them into the sauce. To these onions and mushrooms, I'm just going to add a couple of tablespoons of fresh curled chopped parsley. Give them a mix up. These are now done, so I'm going to add them to the sauce. Put this pan back on the heat and give it a nice mix up. When you're mixing this white sauce, you need to kind of make sure that you're getting all the nooks and crannies all around the sides of the pan, just to make sure that there's no place on the bottom of the pan where it's going to stick and ruin your sauce. So I'm going to let this simmer now on a low heat for about 10 minutes, and I'm going to keep giving it a stir. Don't leave it for too long, maybe, I don't know, 30 seconds to a minute, and then keep coming back and giving it a stir. You really don't want to leave this and ruin all the effort that you put into making a nice blue cheese sauce. Okay, so next I've got these 4 very small muntjac loins. I say there was only yearlings, so they're quite small. I think probably definitely 2 could do you for 1 meal. I'm cooking these today, so some people, I'm doing a dinner party, some people are having some muntjac loin, so I'm going to give them 2 each. And some people that don't want the muntjac are having the blue sauce on a nice duck breast. So there's different ways that you can do it. You can use, you know, lots of different meats with the sauce. So I'm just going to add a bit of salt and pepper to these, give them a seasoning. All I've done is put a little bit of oil on each steak because we don't want it swimming, and we're going to put it on the griddle pan. I've put no oil in the griddle pan because we've got it on our steak, so this is to stop it from being too greasy. Here I've got 4 loins or backstraps, and these ones are a bit thicker than those ones, so I'm going to start off with these ones, so they're going to go in the pan. When you're cooking these, you're better off if you make sure you take them out half an hour before you want to cook them, because it will stop the meat from being so tough. If I was cooking larger loins, like proper venison ones, I would probably put them in the oven, but because these are quite small, I'm just going to cook them on top of the stove. Okay, so these ones have had a minute, so I'm just going to put these smaller ones in now. It won't take so long, and get them cooking as well. So these are on a medium to high heat. I'm going to give the thicker ones here about 4 to 5 minutes, and the smaller ones here, I'm just going to give them, I don't know, a couple of minutes each side. Okay, so I like to give the sides a go, so we'll put them up like this. Stand them like that. And cook the sides a little bit as well. Just put a little bit of oil in the corner of this pan, and I've just added some chestnut mushrooms, so we'll have them with it. Okay, so these steaks have had probably about 5 minutes now. I'm going to take them off and put them into some foil, wrap them up and let them rest for a good 5 minutes. So there it is, my muntjac loin or saddle with some potato mash, some griddled mushrooms and some blue cheese sauce. So if you like this video and you'd like to see some more, please subscribe, and then you'll be in the winners club.
It's silent now, we don't say a word, we're just looking at each other. Tears in our eyes from the words we said, yeah, it kinda broke my heart. Loving you is not so goddamn easy as you think. I'm trying my best to hold on, but I feel myself giving. You know that we